Hi guys, GamingBear here. Right, there's a special on the moment, and it's premium. So you know me as the premium guy or the premium bear. What we're looking at is a huge bundle of over 80 tanks for a huge price. And now here is the deal. So looking through, $909.99 for and 50% off. For this huge list. I'm going to scroll through slowly. If you can't get to it, you can have a look through, pause frame, and you can see the entire list. And I'm going to run through these on a tank by tank basis, showing you the tank. I've done reviews of all of these vehicles over the past years, so I will link through to the from this initial look at things to the countries, and then subdividing it into either the tier or the actual type of tank that's coming in. So we'll go into the Americans, and then we'll go in heavy tanks, and then that'll cut it down. Bear with me a second. Cut it down. Sadly, you don't get the Chrysler, but you do get two Patriots. You get the E5 and this standard version, which a lot of people like, but my favourite of the two is actually the Patriot version, which I really like. Other people don't, but then that's everyone's individual preference. So yeah, I really like this tank, and I've got two of them on this account. Some people say, why have you got two? Well, it helps me grind the crews up, and I bump them in one tank and then into the other tank all in the same day, get the doubles and boost up the crew. It's just a GamingBear thing. So that's what I'm going to do, linking through the tanks. So I've actually got more of them on my European account. So what I'm going to do is actually link through, and then we'll run through country by country, going through. You can see even on this one I've got like the Gross Tractor, other tanks which aren't in the bundle. Most of them are, but there are a lot of them in the bundle. Say like the let's have a look. I'll run through exactly what's in the bundle and what isn't. So like, well, we'll run that through. So bear with me. We'll cross over to my main account where I've got a lot. So between all of the accounts, I must be running 200-300 premiums, and that's just tanks. So yeah, so bear with me. Let's hop over. Okay, we're in. Sadly, the Panzer 2J isn't one of the ones in this offer. It would be really nice. So let's get in. So I'll click through. We can have a quick look at the ones I've got on this account at the moment. So you can see 116 just on this account. So yeah, it's a nice start to say. And if like me, you're a major collector and you want everything and every version of every tank that's possible, then this is a package which could suit you. But then you may have them already, so it's a very interesting thing to look at. So let's have a look. Let's get in the American side, and let's look at the tier. Starting off at tier 2. So all of these are in the bundle. So you've got the E6. I'm going to run through quickly, otherwise the video will take too long. All of these will be linked with all of the reviews that I've previously done. And any that I had missed, which I don't think I have, will be listed. So you've got the E6 to start. Then you've got, which has got a multi-cannon. This has got a very nifty, long-firing MG with 1,350 rounds. Actually, very neat. We then come to the T2 Light, another MG version. Actually, let's go through all of the different tanks of the same level. So you can see all of these. I'm just checking. I don't think the L60 is in the package. So bear with me a second. I'm just checking the list. Off the top of my head, from memory, I'm just seeing, and I don't think it's there. Just flicking through. There we go. Okay, right. The T45 isn't there, the 38H isn't there, there we go. So we've got the Panzer 2D is there, and I've definitely done a review of this. We then get the Tetrarch, a nifty looking parachuting in plane biplane tank. That's in the deal. We've got the E6, which we've looked at. Then we've done those. We have the light Vic. Double checking. I'm sure this is in the deal, so bear with me. Yes, it's in the deal, and it's got a slightly different but very similar MG to the T7. So they're both very similar, but they've got different penetration characteristics, and that'll be shown in the reviews. So we then come to the Tiki, which is a Japanese light tank, and with a more punchy gun and nicely sloped armor. So then let's move on to the tier 3s. Kicking in. Now you get the Toldi. This will be linked as well. I'm showing you which ones are. So after that, you get the coming through. You get the T15 isn't there. These aren't there, but the LTP is in. It's got some nice slopey, bouncy armor. That's been reviewed. Then we get the M3. It's like the normal M3, but the light version with a gun which has got slightly less penetration, and it's Russian rather than American, which I really like. We then come to the 127, which is a little beast of a tank because of the 40mm of sloped armor. The only place it can be really penetrated by MGs of this level is the lower plate, and that's from the front. The rest of it is pretty impenetrable to MGs, which is a big threat at this tier, so that makes it really good. We then get the BTSV, and you see the angling on this. I've done a review of this one as well, and the angling 25mm doesn't sound like a lot, but at this tier it can be very effective, very fast moving, incredibly fast moving, and very, very nice. Looking at this, I'll just show the details on this. So you're looking 62 km/h forward, but going fast like a little rocket, you miss out on a little bit of turning ability. You've got to plan what you're doing, but it's like a little whippet. It's really neat. So then you get the M22 Locust, which is in the deal as well. Now, one thing that other people don't really know, like you guys and I know about the American server, is that a lot of people like playing the lower tiers because they're fun, whereas some people in Europe just take it too blinking seriously. And so playing these tanks is a lot more fun on the American server than the European server, because you just have fun in them, you know, and that's just how it is. And this has got nice slopey armor, relatively good with the 25mm, and a nice punchy little gun. So it's yeah, very, very useful. We then come to tier 4, so let's have a look. Sadly, you don't get the B2, but you get the Valentine, which is incredibly tough. And I'm a little spammer, and I use premium with mine. APCR all the way to be able to penetrate, and it's a little monster. At this tier, it's really, really good fun. You then come to the T28 F30 big gun. It's got the F30 gun, which it used to be on the old KV when everything back in the day when I played originally, when the tiers, when everything was smished together. So yeah, very nifty, and I've reviewed this. We then come to the AC1 Sentinel, which is actually an Australian tank, and yeah, I've fully reviewed this one. So we'll then have a look at the tier 5s. So coming in, tier 5s, seeing what we've got. So the first one you get is the Matilda 4, basically a Matilda with an 85mm gun, which takes a bit of working, but that's going to be sorted out in the review. Now the Churchill 3, very punchy gun, slow, heavily armoured. It's a neat little tank. Sadly, you don't get the 851, but you do get the M4 improved, which is a combination of basically an M4 with more slopey armour and very similar to the T34, except you're looking actually better armour in places. So yeah, you know, you can't go wrong with this. I actually really like this little tank. Then we come to the Ram, which is looking like this. It's a Canadian tank, very neat, underappreciated armor. It's the sloping and angling really can be a pain to your enemy, so I quite like this as well. Then we come to a premium version, well, basically you're looking at having the special matchmaking with a T14 heavy tank down at tier 5. Very, very nifty armor. We then come through to the Black Prince, underappreciated, with a still very punchy gun, Matilda-like characteristics with a lower hull, and a boxier turret. I like it, other people don't, and I find it very, very good fun. It is slow, but it's all covered in the review. Excelsior, it's a faster version. You look at the Churchill. Basically, it's got a similar armor, and actually better in some ways, worse in others, with a gun that can be punchy, but you find that you need to use more premium with this when you get up against some of the heavier tanks, but you can penetrate them with it. Lighter skinned vehicles, you can work the gun on this, so it's quite a nifty little beast. So then we have a look through at tier 6. Oh, before we go, I've just realised I missed one out, which was the Type 3 the Chinokai, otherwise known as the Type 3, which is quite an unusually armoured, punchy little gun, interesting mobility, and it's all covered in the review, so that's all going to be linked. So yes, I quite like this one. So yeah, but let's get back. Sorry, I almost missed that. So let's tidy this up. So working our way through, everyone loves Tigers, and you've got 2 versions. So, you know, Tiger armor at tier 6. The gun can let you down, and there are times when you have to go for premium ammo to be able to penetrate your targets. But, you know, it's a Tiger at tier 6. You then get, so it's the 131, which is the version which is at Bovington Tank Museum, which is one of the, I think it's the only running Tiger in the world. You then get, this is the the Japanese version, which is the Tiger 6, basically Panzerkampfwagen 6 taken over to Japan, similar to the Tiger 131. We then get the Dicamax, very, very punchy gun with an incredible elevation and gun depression especially. Very punchy, hardly any armor, not very good traverse from side to side. It's a workable little tank destroyer, big gun, and that's all covered. We then come to the SU-100Y, big gun with what looks like 2 sets of crew members in it. Big punchy gun, 130mm gun, similar caliber to that of the IS-7, down here at tier 6. A wonderfully maneuverable tank. You think the armour is pants, but because of the angles and curves, you can pull off some amazing bounces. We then come to the Thunderbolt, and it's got very nice armour. Slightly less mobility, but it's a very nice M4 version, which I thoroughly like. Very, very nifty. Then after the Thunderbolt, we come to the Fury, which is a very nimble, a brawling M4. Now the M4 is normally pretty good, but this is even better in a clinch. All going to be covered in the review. Very, very nice. But I love all of the decals on it, especially the gas mask with the helmet. But yeah, it's just a lovely little tank. We then come to another of my favourites, the Tog. A very, in some ways it's overpowered, in other ways it's pants. The Tog is the Tog, but what you get, everyone just grins when and is happy when they see it, whether it's on their side or yours. So yeah, that's just how it goes. Then we come to the Skoda, the T40, a very nice little tank, and yeah, very punchy gun. Good mobility. The armour isn't the greatest, but you can pull off some nice bounces. But that's not what it's all to work around. There are other aspects which are all highlighted in the linked review. We then come to the Poodle. Very nice armour. It is a Panther, so it's a Panther in another guise. Polish, very, very nifty. So I quite like this one. We then come to the Swedish version, the SCRV 4257. quite a nifty little autocannon with a number of shots, rate of fire of 10.9 rounds per minute. Very manoeuvrable. It's a nice medium-y sort of tank. Very, very interesting. Plays very much like the French, only a medium version. But that's all linked in the review. So let's have a look at a tier 7. So working our way through tier 7. It's just so nice to be able to do this. One thing I like about the tier 7 on this, you've got preferential matchmaking, which essentially makes it as well. You've got to put it into the category of essentially tier 6 with the matchmaking, and then that's the sort of tanks that will really be put up against because of the special situation with the matchmaking. And so that makes this slightly overpowered when you think about it really as being a tier 6 tank in a tier 7 slot. I explain it in the review. We then come to the very heavy VK4503. Basically, it's like a Tiger tank, but with sloped frontal armour. 100mm sloped. So it's a combination of the standard Tiger with the Tiger 2's first turret, essentially, and that's what you get with this. I like this, and it's all explained in the review. We then come to the Kruppsteier. A very interesting tank, but you've got to watch out for these little hatches at the front, because when you're trying to aim over these, your gun blips up over them as you think you got it on target, which is why I find these turn sideways, aim over the side so you know where your gun's firing. But that's all explained in the review as well. Then we come to the SU-122. A very nifty, they call it Stalin's Hammer, very overpowered. You basically get, it's like the IS-2, only faster firing. You don't get a turret, but you still get 90mm of frontal armour and a huge mantlet which bounces so many shots and relatively good mobility. All explained in the review, but a very, very nice tank destroyer. We then come to the Scorpion. Basically no armour, 1mm of armour, good mobility. It was improved because it had issues, and a very nice punchy 90mm gun. Very, very nice. Then we come through to the FV201. You're looking at this level, a nicely armed tank, and the hull, even though it says it's 76mm, because of the angling and sloping, you can pull off some neat bounces. You've got slightly more mobility than the other heavies other British heavies at the tier. And for this, it's a combination. You gain more mobility, but you lose a little bit in the armor value. But I quite like this, and it seems quite modern. And I explain it all in the review. So time to move on. We then come to the AT-15A. Very nicely armored, very good at this tier. Punchy little gun, hardly any mobility, but it's usable. You've got a huge arc that the gun can fire without moving, and it's explained in the review what this is like, and I quite like this. I really like my British tank destroyers. So yeah, nice package for tank destroyers. So time to move up and have a look at the tier 8s. So clicking through tier 8. Okay, first you get is the Mutz. Very punchy gun. You can pull off some neat bounces with the 90mm of the hull armour, depending on where you are and working the ridge. It's a very, very punchy, modern Swiss tank. Sadly, you don't get the Schwarzpanzer, which is basically the same thing, only black. But you do get the Löwe, which is, oh, come on, very nice, hold down, amazing turret from the front. Nothing really penetrates it. The armour on the whole has been buffed recently, well, and it's a lot better than it used to be. So it's a very workable, and this is actually the first premium tank I had in the game way back in 2011, April 2011. Didn't have a clue what to do, and this is the first. This and the KV5 were the first two premiums I bought. Yeah, I've always had a soft spot for this, even more than the KV5. So yeah, very, very nifty. Reviews of this up as well. We then come to the Jagdtiger 88. Incredibly accurate, smaller gun, but hellishly good frontal armour, very good side armour, and it's a bit of a beast on the battlefield. Anything in front of it is in trouble, and with the accuracy of the gun, it really helps. Good credit making, and that's all linked in the review, and I hope you like it. I certainly do. So we then come to the T-54, first prototype, very well armoured, turret armour 200mm, hull armour 120, incredibly well sloped, a bit of a beast on the battlefield. Then we come to the T-44-100, similar but with side plating to make it even better. So you're looking only 190mm on the turret, so that's a weak spot. Your sides are better, so that essentially between the two vehicles, the first prototype is very similar. You've got 90 on the sides of the hull. You then switch up. This has got 70 on the sides of the hull, but it's got that plating, so you can stop heat rounds more easily. But your turret is slightly weaker. Very, very interesting. All sorted out in the reviews. But you can look at the height difference between these two. You can see how they're set up. Very, very nifty tanks. So yeah. Then we move. I want to go into more detail, but we're running out of time. So then we move on to the standard IS-6. Very, very nice armour. A gun which is a bit of an issue. Your preferential matchmaking, which really helps with this. And you need to use a lot of APCR in certain circumstances to be able to help you because of the matchmaking. It can be an issue at the moment, but it's still a lovely tank. And I've got the black version as well, but that's not an ideal. It would be nice. Then we come to the Super Pershing, the E4. Very, very good armour from the front. From the side, you've got to angle it properly. It's a brawling tank, but it's very, very slow, which is why I always use Cola with it, and I've got vents to help to speed it up, and a good crew. So you need that to make this work, but when it does, it's really, really good. Then we come to the pilot, the T-25 Pilot. Very accurate gun, very much like the E3, and it's very nimble, accurate gun. Click on the review and it'll take you through to this type. It's a very precise tank. It takes a bit of mastering, but when you've got it, you can just cane your enemies. It's really, really nifty. Then we've got the M46KR, fast-firing gun. It did have issues with penetration, but that's all explained in the review of what it's like. I like this Korean version. It's pretty nifty. We then come to one of the best all-rounders, T-34. So many people have used this on the grinding of the American line. It's such a useful, hard-hitting tank that it used to be up at the higher levels, and then it was put in to be a premium. So yeah, back in the day, this was higher with better statistics, but it still maintained its penetration with the gun, which is phenomenal. Sadly, you don't get the second one thrown in, the black version. But, you know, as a collector, I get more than one version of everything. And other collectors would do the same. But not everyone's a collector. We then come to the, like I said, the two versions of the Patriot. You saw the ones I've got on the American account, and I've got two more over here, and then I've got other ones on the other. So I must have 6, 7 different tanks of this. So yeah, I know. So this is the first version, which is the standard non-American, which I love, and then there's the American pattern, which I really, really like. Incredibly strong, overpowered tank, very, very good for anyone's collection. We then come to the French M4 version, the Revelarise, which was buffed slightly. The accuracy of the gun, the handling characteristics were improved because it was a bit of a pain. But it's basically a tier 8 gun on a lower tier tank, better mobility, no armor, but an amazing gun. After this, we get the AMX CDC, or the Char something or other. I can't. Chasseur de Char, that's it. It looks like it's got really tough armor. but it's not. It's very thin at this level. Very good maneuvering. Very good at working ridges. It's a big target, easy to hit, easy to penetrate, but your abilities with the gun are very nice. So very, very useful. We then come to the Lorraine, which I love. It's one of my favourite tanks in the game. Always has been. I love this tank, and I hope you will too. If you so, yes, I wouldn't say get the package for this. It's a lot of money, but yeah, I love this. Very good maneuverability. Fantastic gun with a clip that a magazine you can just spam at the enemy and just take them to pieces and peel off, pull back, reload, laughing all the way to the bank. After that, we get the FCM 50, which is basically a professional tanker's dream. Preferential matchmaking, great gun, very maneuverable, and okay-ish armor in the right circumstances, but it's the maneuverability and the view range is horrendously good. Full review on this, and it is a top-notch tank. We then come to the M449. Some people say that, you know, why have two? Well, this package has got two, and it's good for helping boost up your French heavy crew. So you got the one version like this, which is in the standard, and then you got the Liberté colours as well, which I really like. I like the special colour schemes. So yeah, I personally have two, but then I'm a proper collector. And it's really nice from the front, with one real main weak spot is the turret up here, but everything else is pretty bouncy, you know. After this, we get the tank destroyer, the AMX CDA 105. Very, very nice, overpowered tank destroyer by anyone's imagining. Full details of that coming up and linked. We then get the FV4202. I know it's a huge number of tanks. Very, very nice. The turret is horrendously thick. Well, 200mm for a Brit, that's really good. The hull armour is weak, but very highly sloped. So the right angling and working a ridge, good at working ridges. So you can make this work as long as you don't try and brawl anywhere but a hill. So working hills is very useful for this. Then we come to the 59 pattern. So it's combined. The hull is of a type 59 and the turret of a pattern. What's not to like? And it's got like a little smiley face, all shown in the review. Sadly, you don't get the type 59, but you do get the neatly buffed T-34-3, which has had better characteristics, better gun depression, and it's essentially the modern type 59 with a bigger gun. So it's a 120mm cannon instead of a 100mm. Very, very nifty. We then get the 112, which is essentially tier 10 armor with a tier 8 gun. From the front, it's incredibly strong. Weak spot is the lower plate. You've got to hide the weak spot, but it's a very strong tank. It really is. Coming then to the WZ111. It's like an IS-3, except it's slightly faster around the battlefield and with a little bit weaker armor in certain ways, but all described in the review of it. So very, very nice. Then we get another overpowered tank, the WZ, or a tank destroyer, the WZ120-1FT. Well, look at that sloping. Very, very nice. 120mm and a chunky mantlet. Full reviews of this done. Very, very nice tank. Very, very nice indeed. Then we come to the STA-2. We're looking Japanese medium. Not a lot of armour. Nice punchy gun. Good accuracy. Good mobility. Good at working ridges. That's what it does. Mobile little thing, taking advantage of the enemy. Like the STA-1. The standard one, except it's a premium version. A couple of little differences, but all explained in the review. We then come to the Prima Victoria, and you probably just saw then I'm averaging 61% win rate with it. I absolutely love this tank. Seen the band at the Wargaming event, and it's a great. I really like it, and not just the band, but the this tank it just suits me because I love the Brits. And then when it came along, it had better armour than the standard Brits that I'd worked with, and I loved anyway. And then they made the armour better. But for those who came from the Russian tanks and then went to this originally, they thought it was underpowered. But I came up on the British line, and I just loved it. And then suddenly the British line got even better. So yeah, I really like this. Some don't, but for me, it just works because I know how to play it. We then, lastly in the deal, come to the STRV with its special traction controls and for elevation for moving the tank up and down over ridges. It's very, very tough from the front. It's a very unusual tank destroyer, Swedish tank destroyer, very fun, punchy gun. It's a very unusual playstyle, but I actually really like it. And it's a very workable in the right situations with the right things. It is overpowered, but if you get caught in the transition, not able to move too far because you slow down when you get into to gun firing. But it's all going to be explained in the review. So that's a list of all of the tanks that are in the review. If you've got any questions, put them in, and all of those reviews will be linked. It'll be a combination of the different types, the countries and the levels, all linked to bring you full reviews of every single tank in this deal, so you can decide whether it's worth you getting it. And at the end, because it's not up to me, it's a huge package, a lot of money, but I would suspect that what they put in, that about it being 50% off, it would be. It's so you then need to look and see what you want to do with the deal. So thank you so much for watching this. All of these reviews will be linked, and then you can click in and then work your way through to see every single one of these. I have done reviews of all of the premiums. So yes, but you'll get to see the modern updated version, but I may be updating some of those reviews to take into account modern changes. And because back in the day I wasn't quite as up to it as I am now, and in the future I'll probably be better again. So yeah, I'm a Gaming Bear. This is a heck of a package. I hope you like it. See you on the next one. Click through to the links to see all the different tanks that are in this package. See you soon, guys. Bye.